Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory. Where last time we packaged a bunch of turbo fuel so we could send it to drones and have them collect all of our uranium and other goods for our nuclear power plant. And that brings us into the nuclear age, because the right side of the factory here is just for non-radioactive production lines. The left side, well, it's getting spicy, bud. Because there's only 2 more things to do before we are done with our first stage of the project, which is making the uranium fuel rods. Because in our little diorama world here, there's only 2 more things. Encased uranium cells and the uranium fuel rods themselves, and of course, well, like 400 reactors or something like that. The deuterium over there, that's actually for like way later, but future Kib's problem. Today, we want to focus on the encased cells. And the recipe we're going to be using is the alternate infused uranium cell recipe, which takes uranium, silica, sulfur, and quickwire. And good news is, we have all of those items ready to go. Like I said, the drones are bringing in the uranium. The deuterium, fully automated. All the sulfur is brought in via belts and trains, and all the silica, well, it's being dealt with beneath these nuclear reactors here. So, we're gonna bring everything together right in this location, get those cells automated, and then very soon, have the uranium fuel rods. But this project, you could say, is pretty involved. The recipe we wanna use takes 25 uranium ore per manufacturer, and we have 2,100 uranium ore. So if we wanna use all the uranium in the world, that means we need to make 84 manufacturers. Yeah. That's a lot of manufacturers. Even our project from the other day, making crystal oscillators, only was like 30? Ugh. But it's okay. We have a couple power shards left, so we don't need to make the full 84. Instead, we can overclock everything. What the heck? And make 34? Numbers, man. Crazy things. Okay, 34, manageable. It's better than 84. And the one thing I really want is a new blueprint for our manufacturers. Because I made this one, which we used for our crystal oscillator setup, and it's pretty solid. Like, you're able to do all of the belt work underneath here, so it makes setting up them all very simple. Especially when the belts can't handle all of the items required for all the manufacturers. So it's great, but we have to build so many manufacturers in such a small area that it's not going to be efficient enough. But we're kind of running out of area, considering we still want to make fixonium and plutonium fuel rods in this space. And so, I've concocted a crazy idea. We make a new manufacturer blueprint, but we stack 2 manufacturers in it. And I feel we can just edit this blueprint to make it work. Like, look at all the space we have down here. We can definitely make a couple shenanigans happen, right? For sure. So let's load it up and see what we can do. Easy mode, we just have this like down here or something. And what do you mean this isn't working? We have all the splitters right there, so I'm like, why not just have this right here? Why does this have to clip? Just don't. Also power, don't ever leave me again. As I was saying, just have the other manufacturer just down here. That's pretty wide. Like, it'd work, like we'd still use these splitters and then we could just split into the next machine down this way. Yeah, a little too wide for my liking. So, uppies, thoughts, questions, concerns? That's very tall. But we do have a lot of space. There's like the entire sky, right? So, gosh, that could work out pretty well. But then how do we connect these splitters up to there? We could bring these down. Oh, and having this staggered lets us bring these down through here. And we could absolutely move forward this way. It doesn't look too bad either. And then we just have to have a bunch of lifts down here. Oh, but the lifts don't like that because we start clashing with the manufacturer up there. Wait, what? That was red like 1 second ago, was it not? I don't know if I'm going crazy or the game is just lagging out of control. That was strange. Oh, but still, it doesn't work here now. Wait, but then we could just go down this way. Oh no, we can't go down this way. Because the idea with the blueprints is they're stackable, right? So we'd want to have another blueprint next door, and we'd want the items to overflow to the next system. And if we bring the items down, well then, we have a problem here, Houston. So stacking's looking a little rough, unless, this is kind of maybe cursed, but unless we do this. we flip it in the other direction. There's probably a lot that's gonna go wrong with this, but hey, we're just messing around, trying new things. Maybe it'll work. The main thing is we have the outputs here, right? So it's like, in any world, we definitely want like one merger for all of the outputs, guaranteed. So then when we try and get the inputs from up here, oh, it actually does not block out the output for this manufacturer. Hold up, this has become a real possibility. Yeah. And then we could have this all go down this way, connects up to these splitters here, no biggie, but then it's the outputs. There's no way we're going to have a separate output for both manufacturers. Like, both manufacturers have to have a single output. The whole blueprint, I'd prefer to have one input and one output area. Like, say we stack this 100 times, right? Like, I'm not gonna track all the different output lines. That would be insane. But wait, this is staggered. Oh my gosh, if that's staggered, that means we could actually stack this up over this way. In some way like this, maybe not exactly how I have it set up, but some way like this, right? This would come down, go into the merger. All the inputs aren't blocked. The output sitting pretty, and then the output over this way. Oh, this is not gonna work at all, I can already tell, but in a perfect world, right? It would just go underneath, and then it'd go up to there. Okay, this is compact. I think this can work. Dreams might be real. I just want to compact it a bit. First, we'll raise it up a bit so we can have this belt be flat. Then next, I don't want to have this like mini belt in between here. Like, this should be able to connect up to that, no problem. And then is there anything else I'd want to mess around with? Yeah, somehow we have to get rid of this. The manufacturer's like model clips through its base. That's what this thing is, like in the animation. It will scoot up this way, which we can't really see right now. 1 second. Okay, here we go with the manufacturers for our crystal oscillators. You can see that little shelf there. That's what's like usually parked underneath the blueprint itself. Like, it should come up, scoot over, do its thing. But the main point here is that this should work. And after only a little tinkering, oh bud, this is probably my new favorite blueprint. It's functional and aesthetically perfect. I love it. Everything is flush, it's efficient, the power lines are all scooting through just with a beam. I was able to block off, or at least hide, that little weird clipping thing for the most part. And then down this way, just raised everything up like I was saying. So that way, now the belts are on curves and everything looks fantastic. Yeah, big fan. And more importantly, it's gonna look so much better when we stack it all together and group them up. Holy crap, the lag. I don't know what's going on, but sorry about all of the lag. I thought we'd had more time before the game started to crap out on us. Apparently not. Before you say anything crazy, I have like a 4090 graphics card and like a supercomputer effectively. Like, it's just the game at this point. Anyway, as I was saying about the blueprints here, when we stack them, they're gonna look incredible. They're so dense with belts and machines and all the whole enchilada. It's gonna be great. So if we just nudge them together like so, it's already 4 manufacturers set up. And let's just take a look at how that block will be. That is awesome. This is awesome. I love this. This is my new favorite blueprint. This is great. Oh my gosh, Kibbs, you're a madman, but do it. Do it for sure. Mirror the blueprint on the other side. It's gonna look like a V8 motor or something, brother. Yeah. This is great. But the big question is, can we fit 34 manufacturers in this area though? Like, it's a lot of manufacturers, my dudes. And my poor dimensional depot isn't having a good time with it either. But good news is that we're not struggling for space. Not at all. We have all 34 manufacturers set up and ready to go. Well, not at all actually. The belt work for this is gonna be a mess. But look at how cool it looks, right? Who cares how bad the belt work will be? This is worth it. This is all worth it. We're gonna leave these manufacturers out to the open as well. That looks too good. It does look like a motor. It's like a V10 now. We have 6. It's a V12. Oh, all of the power. We have 24 here, and then we have the rest over there. But the reason why I say the belt work is gonna be an absolute nightmare is even though we have all the nice overflowing and we have a decent chunk of space down at ground level here, it's that we need so many items for this project. Like what I was saying about the uranium, we needed 2,100 of it. Well, same deal with the sulfur, 2,100 sulfur. Silica, each machine needs 15 per minute, right? So let's just use the unpower shorted number. 84 times 15, a lot of silica. But the big one is quickwire. 75 per minute per machine. Oh, well, of course, and then it's overclocked, so numbers get a little wild. But 84 times 75, like, huge belt highway number. In fact, it's probably gonna be the biggest belt highway in the entire factory. Yeah, because those 8, 9-ish belts of quickwire, we need to bring all the way to there from the exact opposite end of the factory over there. Quite the distance. And that's not even to mention like balancing all the belts and all that stuff, but we'll get to it after we deal with a more pressing matter. So we just calculated we needed like 9 belts of quickwire. We have all of our quickwire from our factories just over here, and I'm not counting 9. I'm counting 8. And I know one of these belts actually isn't even like a full 780 belt. In fact, I don't even know if any of them are full 780 belts. How we built all of our quickwire in a earlier episode was we used this blueprint here that takes the caterium ore and then immediately puts it into 2 assemblers. And the 2 assemblers are overclocked to 200%. So that's 180 times 2, that's 360. Then I probably combined this blueprint with the outputs of the blueprint to its side. So really, all of these belts down here are 720 belts at best. And 8 times 720, that's not gonna be the right number. What is that? 8 times 720. What the heck is that? That's not 6,300. Where is my quickwire? Now I know past Kibs. Past Kibs, he probably just forgot a belt somewhere. I would not have underbuilt the machines. It's just not a mistake I make. But where those last quickwire belts are, well, that's anyone's guess, because it's looking like we got everything there. Upstairs, we have this whole like a couple decimal point machines and stuff like that where we have to make like essentially like 63.46 quickwire or AI limiters per minute, and then the residual quickwire we have going a belt, and it's a whole thing. But the main thing is that belt is accounted for and it's going over this way. Maybe a problem? Sorry, future Kibs. Unfortunately, this is not the problem right now. It's a more pressing problem. Where are my belts? What about in here? This is the main factory where we have all of the quickwire belts out the wazoo. Now we got all the quickwire from down that way. I'm looking through the systems, I'm seeing lots of quickwire coming to the main stack. Oh, that's really bad. I thought this last one was not gonna be accounted for, but it is. That's going upstairs, combining with the plastic and making all these AI limiters. We have a bunch of belts coming down for the AI limiters. It's 6 of them? 6 belts of 720? Bro, 6 times 720? You're telling me I'm using over 4,000 quickwire for this? I don't think so. What's the situation here? Not overclocked because I was running out of power shards, but 120 times, oh geez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait a second, that's 720. The systems down here are perfect. It's literally one 720 belt to one set of 6 assemblers down here. Uh-oh, the plot thickens. If everything's set up down here and the other belts are used up over that way and brought, where are my quickwire belts? What is going on? Wait, I know where they are. They're right over here. They have to be these belts. I brought them outside and everything. I thought for sure I'd use these. Did I not? I did. They're being brought over, they're being brought up the wall, and they're connected to that main bus of quickwire, no? They have to be. Everything's here, right? Oh, past Kibs. Past Kibs, you are such a goofy goober. Okay, well, I guess we'll have to bring that through all of these machines, through this wall, and to the main quickwire bus. But at least this wall is clear, so we'll bring everything down this wall. And hey, there's the main quickwire bus. So bring things down here, onto here, and then bring all of these belts to the entire other side of the factory. But after bringing all those things over, guess who doesn't want to work on a giant belt highway right now? This guy. No, we're gonna go back to our manufacturer setup, and we have to build a balancer. Because all these manufacturers are overclocked, right? So they needed 187.5 quickwire each. We only have 780 belts, so 780 divided by 187.5 is about 4 machines. So we'll have each belt of quickwire go into 4 machines, and then we'll have to bring in another belt to let things work. So down on the ground level, we'd have this go to here, and then we'd have to find a source of quickwire from somewhere. And 187.5 times 4 is 750. Okay, so we'll have to make 750 belts of quickwire. Bad news about a 750 belt of quickwire is all the belts of quickwire we're bringing in are 720 belts. So we're going to have to like inject them with an extra 30 quickwire per minute, which should be kind of okay. I know, a lot of math, but stick with me for a second. We're gonna have 8 belts and change, right? And in any world, we're gonna have this weird, like, what is this, 540 belt extra. So we'll have 8 720 belts and then a 540 belt. So 540 divided by 8 is 67.5. So what I'm thinking here is we get the 720 belt, right? We set it up with a merger. Then with the 540 belt, we set up a smart splitter and we send the goods into the 720 belt. So then that'll make it a 780 belt. But then when the 780 belt goes down to Dodge and feeds into, these belts, relax, feeds into the 4 machines that only need 750, this belt over here is gonna overflow. So after it overflows, the system will have it overflow into another merger over this way. Okay, so from here back to the set of 4, eventually that belt there will overflow into here, and there should be 30 per minute here. And for that extra 30, actually we'd want to reflow it forward because there's going to be residual quickwire for every single belt. This is one of the 8 belts, right? So 8 times 30 is like 240, plus whatever remains of the 540 belt, we're gonna like effectively cannibalize. We'll all merge at the end here onto one belt, and everything should be fine. We just need to stack this up 8 times for all 8 of the belts. So once it's stacked up and cleaned up a bit, this is the result. And I was gonna try and explain things better with like a graphic and stuff like that, but you know what? Boom. There it is. No one would understand it, even with the graphic anyway. The main thing is, these are all gonna be 780 belts until they overflow. Again, all overflow will merge in, combine with what remains of the 540 belt, and then be here. And I should probably write all that stuff down on a bin here. The initial 540 belt needs to enter there. Oh man, though. I guess it is that time to actually make the belt highway. This is the plan. The belt is gonna go all the way down over this way, sneak behind our control center there, and meet up with the Caterium plant. Good news is, temporary blueprints for the win. Look at all these belts. I just set up all of the belts in a blueprint maker, got rid of all the supports, and now we can just stack these out the wazoo. Unfortunately, we cannot connect the blueprints together, but this at least saves me a ton of work, or at least half the work, right? Because now, just like the pipes, just have to go from here to there, there to here, here, to no, there, please, etc., 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 for 1 million hours, which is why I'm sure glad we have the power of the boop. Oh, thank goodness for booping, or else this would have been an agonizing 9-hour video, right? JK, it didn't actually take me, okay, it took me a long time. I didn't count how many hours, okay? But the highway is complete, All of the belts are brought up over to here for both the quickwire, sulfur, and soon to be the uranium. Yeah, we needed 9 belts for the quickwire, 3 for the uranium, 3 for the sulfur. Cool, cool. And even better. Look at this. I actually wrote everything down. Good job, past Kibs. I'm sure I will understand this in the future. Moving on though, just so I didn't go totally insane, in between setting up that highway there, I started doing some of the inputs for the system. So the most complicated one is the quickwire, of course. And like I was saying earlier, that belt just needs to go in between two machines. So this belt, well, except for this belt, because this is kind of like the decimal point one, but most belts have to go in between two machines. So the belt would go over here, goes into this splitter, and then it stops. Next 7, 20, 50 belt, whatever, goes into that splitter, goes to the next one, then it stops. And then as for the silica, we only needed 1,260, which is 2 belts, one 780 belt and one 480 belt, and that's just fine. Most of it just overflows through half of the machines. Then with that 120 belt, I just sent in a little bit to merge in, finish up the set of 24. Then for the other 8 machines, the remainder of the silica goes into there. And yeah, that one belt that ends up with the residuals of the overflow and all that, that is this end of the line here, where it's 2 manufacturers set to 200%. So 32 are fully overclocked, and then these 2 here are at 200%. But oh yes, as I was belting things in, I also just wanted to belt in the sulfur, because it's not a big deal. It's only 2,100 sulfur per minute. That's 3 belts, no biggie, right? Wrong. Oh, wrong. I don't know how this happened. Oh my gosh, I just realized how it happened now. I brought in a ton of sulfur, more than we needed, and we only needed like 1,000 sulfur per minute to make all of our sulfuric acid for the project. No biggie. So I was like, okay, we have so much extra, everything will be great. Then we needed 2,100 for the manufacturers over there for the encased uranium cells. No biggie as well. Like we have 2 pure belts that are up from the hills over there, and that's like 2,400. Then we have the trains that are bringing in a bunch of sulfur. But then you know what I forgot about? The turbo fuel setup. I just assumed we had a ton of extra sulfur, so I just used 600 of it to make a bunch of turbo fuel to power our drones. And now, all of it is accounted for, and we are short 300 sulfur per minute. Oh, compacted coal, why do you gotta be such a punk? Oh, we could have gone another direction with this too. Whatever, it's too late. This is all built, it looks really cool, and there ain't no way I am changing this. Rule of cool is working in spades for this wall. But for another 300 sulfur ore per minute, I don't know exactly how we're gonna do that. Wait! Yes, I do. I didn't think this would come in handy, but earlier on, when I was gathering up all of the nitrogen gas around the world, I passed by a sulfur node way down over this way. So we have the nitrogen gas pipes just built behind the cliffs here, going all the way to the other side of the world pretty much. This is before I knew about the drone packaging stuff. But right next to this node is a sulfur node. And even if it's impure, that's all the sulfur we need, bud. And look at that, normal. So we can just yoink that and belt it all the way back to the power plant on our already existing infrastructure right over here. Ah, I love having infrastructure everywhere. It makes life so much better. So we'll scoot the power over, and that way we can also scoot the belts back. Then we can get 2 of these, what are they? Geothermal generators on our main power grid, because power is looking very spooky right now. And that'll help quite a bit. 600 megawatts for free, baby. And this should work out great. Wait a second. I've already set up this super massive belt highway today. So do I really want to bring another belt all the way out, a quarter of the way around the world? You know what? I don't think so. I think it's time for Mr. Gibbs to cash in some chips. You see, when we're working on our drone port here, we built a couple extra drone ports just in case there's some throughput issues. That already came in handy, actually. But that leaves us with a couple of drone ports just not being used. And we have plenty of packaged turbo fuel to power the drones. So, what if we just sent the drone way over there to get to the extra sulfur? We technically only need 300 per minute, right? So even if this drone doesn't work like perfectly, as in the throughput rate isn't 600 per minute, so long as it's over 300 per minute, we're good to go. And yeah, there's just no way. There's no way I'm bringing a belt over this. That would take forever, dude. And here's the deal, right? If we end up having to need that drone port, we could belt everything over, no problem. But as it stands, I'm using the capacity. I'm not gonna be one of those gamers who like collects all these like good items and sets up all this amazing infrastructure and then doesn't use it for like the entire length of the game. It's time to use the goods. If you wouldn't keep getting in the way, spiders. I'm trying to build a drone. All right, new random drone port in the world is created. This means more drones flying all over the place, and I'm gonna be happy to see it. What's even better is with our little drone station here, we can take it back to base since I renamed the other drone port. So this port goes to Sulfur, 600, Sulfur, in, and then back to here. I've already set this one up with a little bit of rocket fuel just so it can get started, and then it will switch over to packaged turbo fuel once it goes back and forth a few times. At least I think that's how it will work, probably. It's all loaded up, yes sir. And let's scoot. Toodaloo, Mr. Bean. Enjoy your new friend, Mr. Drone. Okay? I will see you never. Half the fun of drones is always finding out where they're gonna end up flying first. Oh, they're gonna fly over this way? That kinda sucks. Are we staying on here? Oh my God, dying! What? Oh, there's the other drone. Cool. Am I dead? No, I only took a little bit of damage. Everything's fine, and we got a boost. No peasant trotting for this, Mr. Kibbs. Now that will come right to here. Drone, where are you? Inbound. Hello, friend. Wow, that was some movement right there. Oh, and that's kind of cool. The flames on the back of the drone are different depending on the fuel. I didn't really like how the turbo fuel clashed with the uranium drones here. It's like they're painted green and the flames are red, or the flames are non-existent sometimes. Weird. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is that this is bringing in the goods. This number needs to be over 300. I think this is over 300. Update, update, update. It's not updating. Well, it says the transfer rate is 5.87 stacks, so that's almost 600 sulfur then, no? New friend, you're gonna update the numbers for us, yes? Please? Thank you. All right, it's over 300 items per minute. That means we're fine. Yes, that does mean that like 100 is being lost through throughput, but if we need that extra 100 sulfur per minute, or technically 300 per minute, we can set up other drones and do other things, or even belt it, what have you. I don't really care right now. Right now, just want that sulfur to get to our production line. And I guess at this point, it's about time to send it out. So we'll make room on our conveyor stack here. This will move it and groove on down. We'll build just on top of our main power line here, because I'm thinking this is gonna be another belt highway, just for like plutonium goods and stuff like that. And then I'm trying to bring all of the belts right up into there for organization. Because with everything actually belted together like this, something will go wrong. It's just about when. And no, it won't be counted as a nuclear accident. It's only when we get too much nuclear waste. That's a real nuclear accident, okay? This is just a production hiccup. These happen. And with this slug thing I built, there's gonna be a problem. I already know. But the sulfur's in, did the same kind of belt work I did with all the rest, and now we just have to worry about the uranium, which is only 3 belts, right? 2,100. However, with the uranium, I'm a little nervous about it because we're gonna be sending it into our control room first. And I guess it's been a little while since I've shown this place off, but this is our nuclear power plant's control building. In case there is some kind of crazy nuclear emergency, in this building we have controls to send all of the uranium waste to an emergency system. We have emergency buffers full with acid in case of things happening. And most importantly, the control room here. In here, we'll be able to switch levers to turn on and off different parts of our power plant. Or in case of emergency, make sure the problem gets fixed by activating a bunch of batteries and redirecting nuclear material. One of those materials is going to be uranium. So all of these belts here are going to be for the 5 uranium nodes, just so we can get a quick glance and see like, hey, are the items moving and grooving or not? with these uranium nodes, if there is an emergency, I probably want to dump all of the uranium ore because it's radioactive and I'll probably be out of power and panicking and a bunch of stuff is gonna be going on. So in that emergency scenario, the excess uranium will go over to some, what are they? Awesome sinks up over this way, which will be powered on by the emergency system and eat up the excess uranium in our power plant. If they're off though, the overflow will end up going over this way and into our existing production lines or over to an emergency area, I think. That's another thing. I don't 100% remember how all of this stuff works. It's very complicated. There's power lines out the wazoo and yeah, turning it all on, we'll see if it actually all works properly. So to do so, we just need to bring the belts from the drones that are here up to over there. This is the main uranium input zone for the control room. And from here, everything gets organized and everything goes crazy. So real quick, let me get that set up. So leave a like and subscribe to give me luck, because things are about to get pretty wild. So everything will go through this whole building, right? And then I tried to build like a bit of a load balancer. So we'd get these 4 belts balanced onto 3, send them on the belt highway, and off to our machines over there. That's not like a huge thing. It's really if our control room works or not. That's what I really need to see right now. Odds are it will. Everything will be fine. But I am a very anxious person. And things typically go a little off the rails. So all of the uranium, it's going in this way. First step is what? A bunch of smart splitters, I remember, over here. And it looks like they're being split up over this way. Oh, that is really smart, Past Me. Thanks, Past Me. These splitters here are set to be on overflow. So if the emergency system is active, all the uranium will go towards it instead of into our factory proper. Except clearly I did not set this splitter properly. So let's set that then. Any out the left. This is none. There we go. Yeah, all the uranium right now must be going towards our awesome sinks. And that's because in our control room, let me guess, our emergency system is online. Yes, because I was charging up all the batteries for it. So if we turn that off now, that's weird. The batteries are draining extremely slowly, but still draining. What's up with that? And where is all of the uranium? We're supposed to be seeing a bunch of uranium moving and grooving through here. Why? Why is that happening? Where is my uranium? Is it a problem upstairs with the awesome sinks? Like, did I miswire something? Are they online? Emergency system is off. So, oh, these are supposed to be off, but they're not. Oh my, oh my gosh. I fuddled. I kerfuddled a lot of it, big. You know what's happening here? I have my emergency system hooked up to all these awesome sinks and the batteries. So the batteries are running the awesome sinks. Okay, little whoopsie daisies. Kind of an easy fix though. All we have to do is instead of having our switch downstairs power these awesome sinks, we'll just have to have another switch to have to run to in case of emergencies up here. Turn on and off all of these awesome sinks. So we'll reroute all the power. I don't know what even is going on with these 2 power poles, but they're gone now. We'll make it look pretty, but this will go to here, then that will go to there, and this should work out fine. These are off now, so now all of this should be going to our emergency system for dealing with excess nuclear waste. However, we do not have our emergency system built yet, so all of this should just stop, right? Like back over this way is where we are going to build our emergency system. But that does mean that all of the uranium should be heading down to here. Oh, just on time. Hello, hello, my friend. It's all working. The uranium is going into here, going into the crazy looking balancer. Hopefully balances out evenly, and off it goes to the production setup. Oh boy, Okay, it'll take a while for our production setup to be running at full speed, so we'll let that head over and do its thing. And last thing I want to check on in our control center here is that the uranium ore is actually going through the control room. Please, please, please. There we go, bud. And see, this is why I'm so happy to have this control room here, because even from a quick glance, you can see a problem. Like, why is the uranium stuttering here? It's because my load balancer are being a little finicky, so I'm gonna have to like mess with that a bit. But yeah, so in case like drones aren't working or something like that, or there's some kind of other problem, we'll see very quickly, just at a glance in the control room, that hey, the belts have stopped, or maybe a pipe's empty, or maybe on this side, one of the fuel rods is not being produced. It'll be like, panic. And then we can come to the power switches here, flip some levers, hopefully fix the problem before it cascades out of control. We'll be all good. But okay, that's happening. Moving, grooving. So let's check on our encased uranium cells. I belted in all of the uranium into all the manufacturers, so we should be looking good. We should be seeing some cells, and then the cells for now are just going to bins, and look at them all, buddy. The second to last step is automated. Now, all we need to do is use that for our uranium fuel rods, and the party started, bud. And no, we're not using this recipe. Super quick though, looking down here. Everything is entering the system properly. Yes, it is, yes, it is. Okay, and before we check this off our to-do list, I want to just give this whole area a nice, clean tidy up. Just make it a cool little building off in the corner here. It's not gonna be anything super special because this area is gonna be flooded with water pipes for all these reactors, but I do want it to look kind of like the motor design that we have going. So these manufacturers will be open to the light, and then we'll probably just hide this entire stack of them in like, I don't know, a brick. Not 100% sure. I think it'll just end up looking something like this. A nice and simple but elegant little factory off in the corner. So we can see all the manufacturers up top, clipped some walls so we could actually have the belts on the outside and we didn't have to detail them too much. And then I just filled in the gaps with some walkways because I left a little bit of space between the blueprints, just enough so we could have a catwalk through it. And then like I said, with the back building here, pretty much I just encased it because it's off in a corner and we're practically never gonna see it, except for the light here. I was looking over in the other direction and I always see that beautiful orange light at the rotor and stator factory, and I like the theme. I think it's neat. So I copied it over here and we'll probably be using it a lot more as we develop more nuclear projects. But overall, beautiful, right? Absolutely gorgeous. And even the interior looks pretty nice as well. Again, with that extra little bit of space, the walkways look fantastic. They connect outside here. We can look through the floor to see all the items moving and grooving. Then I just left all of this out in the open for now, just in case we do anything different with it. I don't know though. Let me know in the comments below if I should encase this or leave it out into the elements. Like on one hand, it looks awesome. But on the other hand, it kind of takes away from the, I don't know, the coolness of our motor here. So again, just let me know. And now we check this off our to-do list. And next time we can start making the fuel rods and maybe even some power. However though, that is gonna be all for now. So if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe for more. And until then, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.